So when I was first told about this movie, that we were going to go see this movie, I thought, okay, it's a Mafia movie. Let me get all decked out, dressed up in the Mafia look. Wow, what a waste, bro. This movie was... Oh. So, Mafia Mama, directed by Catherine Hardwicke, which I just found out actually directed the Twilight movies as well. This movie, I hate to say this just outright, but wow, this was bad. This was really, really bad. And there's two really great, there's actually a lot of great actors and actresses in this movie, but two really great ones are Toni Collette and Monica Bellucci. And while I did like their performances as actresses, I did not like the direction that this film went in. It's a great concept. Basically, this woman, Toni Collette's character, called Kristen, her grandfather passed away, and she did not even know what he really was involved in, and turns out he's a mafia boss. So just like in the trailers, you see she kind of takes over the role of a mafia boss, or that's what she is supposed to do, and gets into various antics along the way. And the reason why I call them antics is because this movie was not at all what I thought it was going to be. Based off the trailers, it looked like it could have been a fun time, a great watch. That was not the case. Just from the bad direction to the poor line choices at times, and then just the way how the story went, a lot of things just made no sense. Logic was out the window, rationality was out the window, and coherence was out the window. Jötunn Joseph and Mitch Somm are probably the two best parts of this movie, and they're the two bodyguards. They were absolutely hysterical, and they weren't like hysterical in a typical way, but it's just a lot of the lines that were delivered were just so absurd that it turned out to be funny, as opposed to it being a very funny movie. There's several other people, as I said earlier, that are great actors and actresses in this movie, and I've seen them in various other things, and they are phenomenal. So seeing them in this, and the way how the movie went and the line delivery was, I could tell that that's the direction that the director wanted to go in. Artist vision, I understand and respect it, but it just did not grip me at all. Anthony and I were sitting in the theater looking at each other like, what is this? There were several instances where things transpired on the screen relating to the story that just made absolutely, positively, without a doubt, no sense, man. This is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to say anything about that happens in the movie, but there's a particular part of the movie where our main character does something, and then something happens a few minutes later, and you're like, well, what in the Sam hell flying flickery shit just happened? But how did that happen in that time? Like, what's going on here? What kind of movie are we actually watching? There were several times that I found myself just sitting there talking to myself, saying, what the hell are we watching? And I don't like saying this about many movies. The movie that I get this riled up about, and it's not even this bad, or it's worse than this, is The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan. Like that's another movie that gets me really riled up because it's so bad. This movie, it's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. Actually, no, it might be. Yeah, it might be that bad too. I like the concept, okay? The concept is really good. You have this female, Kristen Balbano. She is part of the Balbano family, and it is a mafia family, and her grandfather's killed, and she takes over and has to basically be somebody she is not completely. But maybe if it was done in a different way, I would have enjoyed the movie far more, but it just did not go in the way that you were expecting. And sometimes with movies, that's okay, but in this instance, it just didn't make sense. The acting by people, yes, I'll give them that because of their acting talent, and a lot of the reactions to certain instances and the way how certain things went down, it's just like, huh? As I said, the two bodyguards were my favorite parts of the movie. They stole the movie for me. Another issue regarding the story is, again, it could have been a much better movie if it was just directed in a different way. If certain things in the story kind of gotten taken out, there were some things that happened and certain interactions that happened that shouldn't have even been a thing, and it kind of just added to the cheesiness and poor nature of the movie. It would have been better if it was less runtime and more concise story and a better direction. The whole time I was just not feeling it, man. It just wasn't a good movie to me, and the audience, Overall, it didn't seem like they thought it was great, but there were several people in the theater that I could tell were really into it, and Anthony and I are like, what are you on? Like, what level are you on? Because these two ladies next to me, an older lady and it looks like her granddaughter or something, I could hear the older lady making comments throughout the movie. She was not having it. She was not having it. She was not having a good time, and she wanted the theater to know she was not having a good time. It was kind of trashy too, because they left like 25 minutes before the movie was over and left all their trash all over the seats. It's like, okay, even if you didn't like the movie, don't be a piece of shit. At least pick up after yourself. You're a grown adult. There's people that work here. Like, come on, just at least pick up after yourself. I don't like when people do that, so that rubbed me the wrong way too. And when she walked by us, because she was sitting next to us, she was just like, "Excuse me." Like, whoa, hey, don't take your shitty attitude out on us, man. We're not having a great time either, okay? Just move along. Overall, not a great movie by any means. Do I suggest that you run and frolic to go see this movie? Hell nah. Honestly, even when it comes out on streaming, I would say steer clear. I would not go back and see this movie. If I saw that it was on a streaming service, I would... no, man, it just was not it for me. It really wasn't, and it really didn't go in the direction that I thought it was going to go in, and I don't have any issues with that with movies, as I've said before. I'm not too sure what the direction was, but I can tell you the direction wasn't good. So thank you guys again for sticking through this review. I appreciate your support. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you can get a notification anytime there's a new video. Thanks again for watching. Until the next one.